So at this time, I am going to welcome Dawn Rao to the podium here. She's going to lead us in the prayer and in the flag salute. Dawn?
Thank you and welcome this evening. 4 years ago, I had a name tag on like many of you and was nervous and hot and a little beside myself as to what to expect. And in the spirit of that, I share my invocation, and I wanted to start off with a verse from the Bible, Proverbs 3, verses 5 through 6. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all of your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. And I think as those of us that are elected and chosen to serve, if we keep that in mind, it helps guide our path. Dear Lord, as we look at our future leaders seated here among us, let us not think of them as politicians, but rather as public servants serving you. Give them strength to put their trust in you and guide them to make their path straight. We ask these things in your name. Amen. If you'll please stand and join me in salute to the flag of our nation. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks.
Thank you. I too, I guess I should introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. I'm Diane Swella, and I too was up here 4 years ago, and it's going to be exciting to be on this side of the table than on that side, but we got through it, and this is an opportunity for all of you to listen to the candidates that are running for our local office and find out where they stand on the issues. And I hope you take it as an opportunity to learn as much as you can and be as informed as you can before you cast your vote on November 4th. So with that, I am going to introduce to you our timekeeper for tonight is Jane Purdy. So Jane will be keeping all of our candidates on track. She'll give them little warnings when there's 30 seconds left, and then when the time is up, we'll move on. The questions that I will be asking tonight to our candidates have been submitted by our members of our Candidate Forum Committee, and our committee consists of Helen Flint, Jane Purdy, and myself, apparently, but no. Actually, I was kind of called in at the last minute. Donna Munoz was also on that committee. And I'd like for Helen and Jane to stand, and let's give them a round of applause for the work that they've done tonight. And I do want you to know that the committee is the only one that has seen the questions that the candidates will be answering tonight. I have them up here. They're in a sealed envelope, and I will read them cold when I open up the envelope and give them to the candidates. So each candidate will be given 1 minute for their opening comments. And then each candidate will be asked questions with 1 minute to answer, and will be given a 2 minutes for a summation or to respond to any question that they didn't get to answer. The order of the first question and all the following questions will be random. And the Republican Candidate Forum is being videotaped and will be shown on Time Warner Cable every Saturday at 4 p.m. from now until November 2nd. And you may also view the video on the website for the Morongo Basin Republicans, and that's www.morongobasinrepublicans.org. And we'd like to give a big thank you to Bob Stevenson of Pro Video and Time Warner for their time here tonight in doing that for us. So our order of appearance for the candidates will be the High Desert Water District, the Town of Yucca Valley, Morongo Unified School District, and the High Desert Medical Center. So at this time, I would like the Republican candidates for Director of the High Desert Water District, Sheldon Huff, Roger Mays, Margaret Sturgis, and Dan Mency to join me on the stage, please. So with that, we are just going to kind of go down the the row here. So Dr. Huff, if you want to go ahead and start with your opening statement. And then you'll have to share the microphones. Yeah, those two, and then that one down there. So, okay.
What are we going to say? I don't know. Do the openings together.
We worked it out. I'm going to do all the choruses, and he's going to do the verses.
We go to that? Good evening. One of my defining character principles is that of stewardship. I believe being a good steward is taking care of the people and things to which I'm entrusted. We first must be good stewards of ourselves. That principle allowed me to graduate from USC as a dentist. From ourselves, then, we need to be a good steward of our families. I've been a good steward of my 45 years married to my high school sweetheart. I served our country as a Navy corpsman attached to the Marines from 1969 to 1973. I was promoted to E5 in 2 years because of the stewardship of the Marines that were under my care. As for my business role, I've been a good steward of successful dental practice for over 35 years in our community. However, and more important, I've endeavored to be a good steward of the trust my patients have placed in me. I've been a good steward of the different community projects in which I've been involved. There are too many to list here, but I'll mention 2 different projects. I helped start the 4th of July fireworks program. 15 years ago, my wife and I reorganized the Yucca Valley pageant. The pageant brings an awesome chance to be a good steward. We are trusted by the parents to be good stewards of their most precious asset, their children. Since you first elected me in 2005, I believe I provided positive stewardship for the High Desert Water District. Before every decision, I've always asked the question, in making this decision, am I being a good steward of our water district? I know there are still challenges we met. I have the experience, knowledge, and skills, as well as the positive character traits to make sure those challenges are met. I ask for your continued support that you'd vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you. And before I go on, I was a little remiss to say that Jane is Johnny on the spot here as our timekeeper, and when there's 30 seconds left, she will raise up the yellow flag, and then when there's 15 seconds, she'll raise up the red flag, and when time's up, you'll hear thank you from me. So.
I don't know if I've had too much Starbucks or I'm just too nervous to sit down, but I really feel better standing up. A couple things strike me. One is, Dawn, wherever you are, I know that every time I come to a podium, you get this fear in your heart, and I'm sorry. During your prayer, you mentioned that politicians need to be public servants, and you're exactly right, and that's the standpoint that I would present in front of you. Is foremost in my mind. I realize how important it is and why we are here. I don't like running for office. I don't enjoy this, but I do have a servant's heart, and I want to serve our community, which I've been a part of for so long. As I look around this room, what really makes me happy is the amount of leaders that we have here today, and I know most of you. Now, we were told to do 2 things. We came up here in our opening, which is tell us a little bit about ourselves, and then answer what expertise we bring to the board. So since 1992, I've known you folks. My dad's lived here a lot longer, but in 1992, I moved up to be a rock climber. And my friend fell 40 feet, broke his back. I went to EMT school and became a firefighter. I've been a firefighter since 1995. Most recently, I've been promoted to the rank of division chief, overseeing the North Desert region of San Bernardino County, which goes from Vegas all the way to Baker and all the way to Trona, administering a $14 million budget and over 14,000 responses per year. I have 2 beautiful girls, which are waiting for me in the car doing their homework, hopefully. Hannah and Haley, who are 9 and 7, and I want this community to exist and be fruitful for them as it has been for me over the last 20 years. And that really is why I'm running on this board, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. And I'm married to my beautiful wife, Amanda, who's also lived up here for the majority of her life. Why am I running? Well, honestly, about 8 years ago, I saw an article in the paper and it said we had a sewer coming. Now, some of us have been around for 40 years and the sewer has been coming.
You'll have
Thank you.
an opportunity. You'll have an opportunity to continue on that with the first question, so thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Mays.
That first question was not about our expertise and why. That's a separate question, isn't it?
Right now is your opening statement.
Thank you.
And then we'll have the first question and then 2 more questions, correct?
Good evening. My name is Roger Mays. For the past 35 years, my wife, Ruth Ann, and I, and our 4 children, along with our 4 children and 5 grandchildren, have lived in Yucca Valley. I have served as a pastor of Grace Community Church, administrator of Grace Christian School. For the past 9 years, it has been my privilege to serve as a director of High Desert Water District. I have served on various ad hoc committees at the Aqua JPIA, and for 4 years, either vice president or president of the board. We've accomplished a great deal. We've kept the budget balanced, maintained healthy financial reserves, kept water rates reasonable, replaced miles and miles and miles of leaky pipes, made substantial progress towards the implementation of the state-mandated sewer system. I remind you, every drop of water truly does count. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to follow in the steps of Dan Muncy, but off on the side here. Welcome, my name is Margot Sturgis, and I live in Yucca Valley. That's usually my opening statement because I'm only given 3 minutes for the past 7 years attending all of the town council meetings, and the past 6 years attending all the water board meetings, except for the past 2 months when I have a new hip. So I do not have a cane or a walker now, and I feel very blessed. And I also feel very energized to serve you. First of all, I want a big round of applause for these gentlemen and all their duties and all their contributions to the community. Let's hear it. They're not bad guys. I am running for office because I bring a new perspective to the board. I am a person that asks questions. Why is this? Why is that? Why isn't that being watched? Do we want to know why? Because I am, like most people here in Yucca Valley, I am on a limited budget. I cannot sit back and not run because I want the voters to have a choice. I am concerned about the $3 million IOU that's to the water fund that's being used for the wastewater. And some of the folks have just been ignoring that. I have a lot of questions. My letters to the editor get removed, edited out, because of the issues that I bring up. They don't want you to know certain things, and I have a lot of questions. So I want you to know, I am not going away. I want you to know I'm here to serve you. I'm here to protect your wallet, because that's what it's going to boil down to right now. We have the biggest project here with the sewer system, the septic prohibition, and we need to get the costs down and take care of our low-income folks so they do not lose their home. And I trust you will look closely at everyone and vote with your heart and your conscience, and please let me represent you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so the first question, I think this is where we ran into the confusion, and maybe that's on my part, that we were having an opening statement, and then the first question is actually, what expertise will you bring to this board, and why are you running? And many of you have answered that, but if you want another minute to answer it, we'll go ahead and allow that. So, Dr. Huff, if you want to go ahead.
I moved to Yucca Valley 35 years ago as a young husband and a father of a month-old baby and a toddler, with all the dreams, hopes, and fears that entails. I risk our future in this community. I wish to serve for the young families that will risk making their home in this community. I wish to serve that we may strengthen the community for those, like me, that have already made that decision. Mine and my wife's record of service in this community is well known. The expertise that I bring to the position is rather simple. I have the ability to learn. I have the ability to start something from the ground up and bring that vision to fruition. You know that when you look around at the different projects in this community. I think the best thing that we have is what Jose Angel said a couple months ago about the progress that we've made in this district. Thank you.
Thank you.
I apologize for misreading the instructions. I bring 3 areas of experience or expertise on this board. One is experience in the community that we live and wanting to have that same community, that viable community for my children, for our children. The second is, as a firefighter, I have a pretty good understanding of the way water flows through pipes and fittings and the infrastructure that's needed, not only for emergencies, but for our own household use. The third area of experience is the last 8 years I've been involved in high desert water. 8 years ago, I saw an ad in the newspaper and chose to become part of the advisory committee for the wastewater system and was elected to the chairperson. And for a year, I served in that position until I was asked to run on the board, and I did. I learned in that position a lot more about wastewater than anybody ever should know, and over the last 6 years, I've applied that to my duties on the water board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. In the year 2000, board member Bob Armstrong contacted me and asked me if I would serve on the Public Activity Committee regarding the wastewater treatment facility. Later on, Bob Statham, a board member, asked me if I would run for the board. General Manager Lee Pearl asked me to run for the board. There was something that apparently they saw in me that was important to them. During these 9 years that I've been on the board, it's been a continuing education. I've gone to governance conferences, seminars, aqua, workshops, reading, all kinds of things when every topic comes up. We've done very, very well. My feeling is this, that common sense really goes a long way in problem solving. But teamwork, honesty, integrity are very, very important for us.
Thank you, Mr. Mays.
It's over.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Sorry. Okay.
All right, I'll speak quickly. My husband and best friend of 43 years lived here in 29 Palms for 15 years before we both moved to Yucca Valley almost 14 years ago, so we do have a history here. We both chose to live here and we both chose to retire here. Now, like the gentleman here before me, they attended a lot of meetings. Well, guess what? So did I. I attended the HR meetings, I attended the ad hoc meetings, I attended water conferences, and I did this on my own to educate myself. And I was not paid $125 a meeting. I was not reimbursed for my mileage, but I still attended these meetings, I still educated myself, and I can discuss sewer issues and I can discuss water issues. I am well-rounded. I can bring a history to the board, to the dais, from the town council. And I want you to know that I have the passion and the time and the energy to serve you. And you, the public, will know that I can be reached. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next two questions will be asked of one candidate at a time, and they will have 1 minute to respond. And if there's a question that you do not have the opportunity to answer, because you each are going to get different questions, and if you'd like to answer that question, you can use that in your closing remarks. So, we'll just kind of go down the order that we've had here. I'm just going to choose a question, and we'll go ahead and start. So, Dr. Huff, will the state drought emergency affect the water allowance coming from Mojave Water Agency through the pipeline?
You gave me a pretty simple question to answer. Yes, it's going to be significant. One of the big challenges we have is Northern California doesn't want us to have their water, and we need their water. And there's a massive problem going on with the Bay Delta regional area. They want us to fix that. They messed it up. They want us to fix it, but there's still no guarantee that we're going to get any water once that's Bay Delta is already fixed. I don't know how many have been through the Bay Delta, but that was started with little levees back in the 1800s. But yes, it's already, the little fish in the Delta, everything's affecting our water supply. Luckily, your water district has been putting water in the ground, so it's important, but we do have water. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Muncy, how will we pay for the new sewer system if we are unable to pass bonds or tax to supplement it?
Well, there's a variety of ways that we could pay for it. I don't think that any of them are the best option. The best option is that the district go out and actively pursue grants. We get the lowest loan available to the state revolving fund, which is the actions we're taking. How else can you do it? Well, a monthly bill. A very expensive monthly bill because we'll have to seek private financing to pay for the system. Second way that we could do it is possibly putting it on the property taxes. Again, it spreads that cost over time. Essentially, I can't ask the homeowner, or if you really had the money, you could pay your share up front for the system. That's an option whether we pursue the state revolving fund or if we seek private financing, which is really not a great option. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Pastor Mays. Putting the new sewer system aside, what do you think is the biggest issue facing High Desert Water District?
Long-term supply of clean water. That is the major thing. If we don't have water, we don't have a community. I'll mention that later on, but anyway, that's important, so that's all.
Thank you. Thank you. And Mrs. Sturgis, do you have a plan to conserve and continue to provide water to the High Desert Water District customers if we have no water coming from the Mojave Water Agency pipeline?
There are several plans that can be installed, and they're doing very well with the conservation as it is now. Regarding the allocation from the Mojave Water Agency, that's been reduced to 5% of our allocation for this year due to the drought. The other issue bringing us up about the payment on the property taxes, that is put on the property taxes will be a burden to everybody because if you miss your payment, your home will go into foreclosure after 1 year. You don't have a 5-year grace period, so that's why I want to be elected, to make sure that some of these folks are not going to be in a problem. As far as the biggest issue, our biggest issue is the sewer. It's not the water right now. These gentlemen have watched out for our water situation and taken care of the CRP, replacement of the pipes, but right now the big issue is the sewer, and I'm disappointed that the Chamber of Commerce is not having a forum to discuss this, and I thank the Republican Club for giving the opportunity. Thank you.
Mrs. Sturgis. Alrighty, so with that, I'd like to thank the candidates for answering those questions. The first one that we had you tell us about why you're running and what you think is your qualifications, and then the questions that you answered. And so now I'm going to give you 2 minutes for your summation and closing statements. And again, we'll have Jane as our timekeeper. If there was a question that I asked of one of the candidates that you were not able to answer, if you'd like to answer it in your closing summation, feel free to do so. So at this time, Dr. Huff.
I think one of the most important things is that the absolute accolades that the Water District has been receiving. I want to read the quote by Jose Angel from the Regional Board. I remember coming and meeting with your previous manager, and you had zero idea what wastewater treatment plant was and the zero institutional capacity. I look at where you are today, and you are surrounded by professional engineers who are assessing the district. To go on, you come a long way. You and your staff have come a long way. And I think that's so important. And I'm going to finish with, I promise you that I always remember that your trust in my stewardship of your district is a tremendous honor, which I do not take lightly. You've been able to watch my character for the last 35 years in which I've lived, worked, and been involved in this community. You've been able to witness my good stewardship of your water district for the last 9 years. Our water district has significant challenges, and they must be met in the next few years. I am again asking for your trust that I will provide the stewardship necessary to solve these problems. The environmental and financial stewardship of our water district is critical to the future of our community. I've been blessed with your trust. I've been blessed to serve with 4 other people who I think the world of because they are truly care about our community. Again, I ask for your continuing trust of my stewardship of the district. So I'd ask for your vote again this time around. Thank you.
Thank you again for coming tonight. We really appreciate you coming to listen to the candidates and to evaluate all of us. The number one thing that I can bring to the board is transparency and integrity and fiscal conservation and stewardship of your money. As a board member, I don't take it lightly, my duties. I take each vote very, very carefully. I weigh it. What is the cost to the consumer? What's this going to do to our water prices? What's going to do to our sewer costs? Understand that I truly believe that the sewer needs to be completed. We have no other options at this point. This has been too long coming. But also truly believe that I'm here to ensure that we get the best sewer we can at the lowest cost. We can't ask Yucca Valley residents to go out there and spend $1 billion on a state-of-the-art system. We have to look for a system that doesn't smell. It's the number one thing for most people, and that's going to work for us. When we talk about drought, understand that the sewer system, once it's built, is going to supply this town with 1,900 acre-feet of water per year. Now, we're using just over 3 acre-feet per year, so more than half our demand will be from that sewer. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to treat the water and it's going to go immediately to your taps, but that means that we're going to have a reliable source of water that we can put back into the ground for our future. And as the state drought continues, our allocations of water are going to get lower. We have to have this wastewater system and this sewer system and for the vitality of our town. We just have to make sure that you can afford it, and that's my job. Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't answer before why. I'm running for my future of my children, my grandchildren, and every single person in this community, that we would have long-term supply of water. I've been here 35 years. This is my home, and I'm fighting for you as a community. This is very important to me. Our district is facing the biggest state-mandated cost project in history. I will do everything in my power to complete this project in a quality, responsible, and reasonable way so that water can be used as many times as possible. More than ever, it is absolutely essential to our community's growth and prosperity to secure and maintain long-term supply of clean water. Water is vital to the well-being of our community. The current California drought has underscored the impact that water has on our economy, our environment, and way of life. As a director of High Desert Water District, I will continue to value and pursue sound, conservative fiscal policies, efficient, innovative organizational management. I'll strive to continually earn the public's trust and listen to the community's needs in making decisions for the long-term viability of High Desert Water District's water resources. I remind you, every single drop of water really, really does count. Thank you for your support and your vote on November 4th.
Thank you.
Again, my name is Margot Sturgis, and I want you to know that the reason why I'm running for office, I ran 4 years ago. I came that close to bumping off Mr. Dan Muncy, and that is not what I ever want to do. So if you're deciding who to vote for, please, I urge you to vote for Mr. Muncy, because this is the man that needs and deserves to stay on the board. Now, let me go a little step further in saying I am sick and tired of politics. You know what? Water does not know if it's Democrat or Republican. And I believe that you out there need to know and meet all the candidates that are running for office. There is the Chamber of Commerce decided not to hold a candidates forum. Guess what? the citizens of this town are pitching in $1 each. I got $70 committed for a candidates forum on October 9th. All you gentlemen are invited. We will be talking about sewers. You will be able to meet all the candidates, because I think that this is a time when we have this sewer facing us that we need to have expertise and experience on there. So the person that you do not see up here is not up here because there is no Republican next to her name. But she told me as we drove to the Register of Voters, as bad as things are financially with the cost of the sewer, because she's a licensed contractor who's done multi-million-dollar contracts and knows this, it could get worse. And I believe that that particular person, her name is Gina Orban, also has a privilege to serve you. And if you don't like me, fine, you vote for Gina. But I do think that we need to look at our candidates and say, this is a new era. This is a sewer project, and you want somebody that's going to be fiscally responsible and have the experience. And I am going to watch out for your wallet, because I have to watch out for mine. And I think I bring that to the dais.
Thank you, Mrs. Sturgis.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate that. All right, I would like to thank our candidates for the High Desert Water District, Dr. Huff, Mr. Muncy, Pastor Mays, and Mrs. Sturgis. And we appreciate you being here. Again, there's information on these candidates in the back. So at this time, I will ask you to depart from the stage, and the Town of Yucca Valley candidates are next. Okay, well, welcome everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. So we'll just kind of go down the line here. The name tags were kind of randomly selected, so we're just going to kind of use that order here. So Mr. McHenry, if you want to go ahead and do your opening statement. Again, Ms. Purdy is our timekeeper. At 30 seconds left, she will put up the yellow flag, and then at 15 seconds, she'll give you the red flag. And when it's over, she'll raise it high, and if you're still talking, I will thank you and we'll move on. Okay?
Good evening. I'd like to thank you all for being here this evening. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Charles McHenry. And I've lived in this community for about 12 years now, just a little over. And one of the things I found out was nice about this community is it's a small community where one voice can make a difference. And shortly after I moved here, I started getting involved in going to council meetings. So I'm here, the first council I saw here was Susan Ernst, Paul Cook, a couple of people who were on the town council, the first meetings I attended. And I see some of the issues that are going on now that were issues then. And I just fell in love with the community. Originally I was planning to move up north to California, where I had a house. My wife and I, we sold that house, bought investment property here, we decided this is going to be our home. And people have asked me, why am I running? Why would you want to be in a position where people are going to be yelling at you and you can't do anything right? The reason why is because I care. My whole adult life has been devoted to public service. Either when I was in the military, or on my job or civil service, or with nonprofit associations. I've been on the board with 3 different nonprofits in the local area in the last 6 years. I enjoyed our area. I'm not very good at speeches, as you can tell. I had to prepare a speech, but I had to burn it about 4 times because I didn't like it. So I'm just, if I seem a little bit nervous, it's because I am. I am not a politician. I'm just a citizen who wants to do a good job, who really cares about this community. And like I said, I enjoy our community, and I enjoy being involved. There are several issues I have concerns with, and I have a choice. I can either sit back and ignore the issues, or I can say, hey, I have a chance to make a difference and be here for the citizens because I am one of you. I'm not a career politician. I've never sought to be in politics, but it seems to be falling that way for me. Thank you.
Mr. Abel?
Hi, good evening. My name is Merle Abel, and I want to thank the Morongo Basin Republican Club for hosting tonight's event, and for all of those that are attending, and for those that are watching at home. Thank you. My family and I moved here 25 years ago, almost 25 years, and I'd like to say I was 6 years old at the time, making me almost 30. But my daughter was 6 years old, my oldest, and my youngest was 2. And my wife and I moved up here. We thought it was a one-year adventure, and we quickly fell in love with the community. I accepted a teaching position for the Morongo Unified School District, and I've been very thrilled to be a teacher for our district. My daughter Katrina and Jennifer have been raised here. They are now married and they've moved on. But my wife and I plan on staying and retiring here and enjoying this wonderful community. I have been involved in the town of Yucca Valley for a long time. I've raised a lot of money for nonprofits through the years. I've also served as a commissioner for our traffic commission. I was on the planning commission as well as on the park and recreation commission, where I was privileged enough to be the chair. I don't take this job lightly, and being a person that is invested in the community, I can't think of a better way to serve by being involved. And so I've been involved for over 20 years on these committees, volunteering my time and attending different events and raising money. The privilege I've had is the last 3.5 years serving as a town council member, and I have found that very rewarding. I've had an opportunity to meet a lot of people through my job as a teacher and also as a council member. I don't take the job lightly, and I know there are so many critical, important decisions to come. And Yucca Valley is at a critical time in history, and I feel my experience and my affection for the community is a valuable asset if I am elected to continue to be on the town council. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Ms. Herval, thank you.
Well, good evening. I'm kind of crunched in the middle here between these nice gentlemen. My name is Lori Herbell, and I've lived here in Yucca Valley for the past 11 years. My parents live up the street from me. I am the founder of the Certified Farmers Markets in the Morongo Basin, where we promote healthy living, healthy food, and provide a place for the community to meet and greet. I also train dogs. I've trained over 800 dogs in this community to be good canine citizens and to be personal service dogs as well as therapy dogs, and I've really enjoyed that. The reason that I'm running this time, as many of you may know, I was elected to town council in 2006 and served until 2010. And one of the reasons, there's a few reasons I'm running. One of the main ones is the sticker shock price of the sewer. Phase 1 is $146 million, and I know that that is just shocking to most people. I don't want to see anybody lose their home or lose their business over this, and I do believe that there are things that the town can do along with the water district and the community to make the sewer more affordable to everyone, so everyone can afford it. I also am running to open the lines of communication further between the council and the community, and I believe that that should be done with quarterly open town hall meetings where people can come and share their concerns. There are other reasons I'm running. I would like to encourage the growth of local small businesses.
Thank you,
I'm
Ms.
out of
Serba.
time? Okay.
Yes, but you'll be able to continue on with our first question, okay? So, Mr. Leone?
Good evening, everyone, and I want to thank the Republican Club for hosting this forum. It's a needed forum to see the candidates that are running, that are going to give their time and energy to serve you, the people of Yucca Valley. Betty and I moved up here in 1989. We had lived over in Rancho Mirage, and we moved up here. And I came up here because I had horses, and I bought a fairly nice piece of property to keep my horses. And in 1996, Marge Crowder the mayor of the town appointed me to the Planning Commission. My concern was large animals and how to protect the environment for large animals in our community. And as I served on the council from early 95 until I was elected in 1996, I ran in 1996 because two people were running at the end of town, and there was just two positions that were open. And I says, you know, people need a choice. So I decided to run for election to the town council in 1996, and I did win that election in 1996. Since that, I served 3 4-year terms as your council member and 3 terms as the mayor of Yucca Valley. I serve the public of Yucca Valley because I've been blessed with good health and energy. I want to give back to my community. I am truly a public servant. I served 5 years on the New York City Police Department. I also served 24 years with the Los Angeles Police Department. And I was one of the first officers in public affairs to drive that car in the Los Angeles said to protect and to serve. And that's what I am hearing today to do, is to serve the public. I truly listen to the public. When I was mayor 3 times, I had coffee with the mayor that started at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Thank you, Mr. Leone. Thank you. Mr. Dennison?
Well, thank you for the privilege to be here this evening. This is my first time on stage. A lot of you may not know me. My name is Rick Dennison. I've been a resident here in Yucca Valley since 1976. I had an opportunity as I started going back to school. I went down to San Diego, went to college, thought that's where I wanted to be, down at the beach, get a house, be a firefighter. That was my dream. And I succeeded in that. And all of a sudden, I found myself wanting to come back to Yucca Valley. And there was a position out here with the fire department, and I turned down the position in San Diego and stayed here because I asked myself, where do I want to be in 20 years? And I did a lot of growing up when I was going to school, and it was a struggle getting through on my own. And since that time, I've been in Yucca Valley. And so after all these years, my wife, Kathy, of 23 years now, I have 2 beautiful daughters that were born and raised in this town, went through the school districts, and are both very successful also. I've come to a point in my life where after my fire career, I've been with the fire department since 1981. I've experienced a lot of wonderful things and a lot of things about management. I've worked on grant management, I've worked on emergency services, I've worked on a federal incident management team to handle large disasters. I really like problem solving, and being a part of this community and truly loving it, I'd rather be nowhere else. I want to start to give back now. There's a lot of people that came before me, even in 1976, that started building this community. And they put a lot of work into it, and I feel at that time they opened their arms and let me be a part of this community. And it's only the right thing to do for all of us to step up and continue to make this place great. There's been a lot of work that's went into this place, and we have to carry that torch to continue it on. We have a lot of things, a lot of issues, and a lot of big infrastructure projects that are coming our way, and we have to allocate the time and the resources to do it. I'm at a point in my career right now where I can do that. My kids have grown up. I can dedicate the time to you and the community to make a difference and do my best as a steward.
Thank you, Mr. Dennison. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, so now you all have the opportunity to maybe continue on with your opening statement with the first question, and that is, what expertise will you bring to the town council and why you are running? So, Mr. McHenry?
Well, what expertise I have is, during my career in civil service, I've worked on several different programs where I had to find solutions for difficult problems, where we had to work with outside engineers along with the team that I was working with to find solutions for problems. Since I've moved here, I've served on, like Mr. Abel, I've served on the Traffic Commission for about 3 years before it was disbanded. I was also originally appointed to the General Plan Advisory Committee, and I found that really enjoyable. I enjoyed working with other people to find solutions for problems. Since then, I've served on, like I said, served on their own profits. I'll talk about those a little bit later because I'm getting a yellow flag saying my time is just about up, so I'll just shut up right now for the time being. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McHenry. Yes, you do have 1 minute to answer this question. So, Mr. Abel?
Well, my expertise goes beyond just serving the community for 20 years on the different commissions, which is well known in my record I'm very proud of. My expertise is being part of the community, being involved, being invested. 20 years of plus of teaching, you work with a variety of families throughout the Morongo Basin. And my current position right now in the school district is working with groups of students that are either financially disadvantaged, they're also perhaps the first time college student, the first in their family to go to college, and they're also those that are an underserved minority. And so by getting to know those families through these 20 years, being their coach, coaching basketball and so forth, it's part of that along with my service to the community on the commissions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Herbell?
What expertise do I bring? Well, as an elected official previously on the council, I already know what is entailed in being a town council member, and I commend everybody up here for stepping up to the plate because it is extremely time consuming. By virtue of what I do for a living, the Certified Farmers Market, I talk to an awful lot of people, and I'm able to communicate with them, and they communicate with me. So I'm basically, people can access me at least one day a week for approximately 6 hours. Another reason that I'm running for council is I would like to examine the budget line by line. I think that that's the responsibility of a council member because I think anybody would agree. Am I done? No. And I think anybody would agree that there's always some fat in government budgets. And
yeah, you are.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms.
I'll leave
Herbell.
it with that.
Okay. Mr. Leone.
Well, the reason I'm running again is that I did retire after 3 terms, 4-year terms, 12 years. I need to have both my knees done, had that done, and my wife had developed lymphoma cancer, but she's on the cure and she's cancer-free today. Thank God. But I started to receive some phone calls about, Bob, we want you back on the council. We don't know what's going on, and things are not going the way we like the town of Yucca Valley. It seems like the town of Yucca Valley is trying to become the city of Yucca Valley. And so the traffic lights and everything have been taking place and along the highways, and people are complaining, but growth is a necessity when our basin is growing the way it is. But I came back to run to replace Isaac Hageman, who had left in July of 2012. I ran and won the election last year, March 13th of last year, and replaced Isaac Hageman for the 19 months. So my term of office is up at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Leone. Mr. Dennison?
Well, my expertise for the position would involve primarily emergency services and how we can best use those and develop those services into something that can grow with the community. The community is growing, we've all seen it. Another thing is the infrastructure that we have that needs to be continued to be developed. There's been a lot of talk of that with the water systems and the recovery systems and the sewer systems. Where I excel is that I really like to, I'm a computer programmer also, that's what I've been doing for about 30 years. And right now I work a lot with the county for doing statistical analysis, grant writing, those kinds of things. But I do like to analyze data and figure out how we can optimize some of the things that we do, where our resources are used the most and the least. Why I'm doing this is, as I said earlier, it's an opportunity for me to give back and work with the community. It's something that I've done my whole life. You know, servant leadership is really something that I embrace and that I use, and I like to work closely with others, and this is a way to affect the community.
Thank you, Mr. Dennison. Okay, so now each of you will be asked one question. Again, you'll have 1 minute to answer that. And they will be different questions for each of you. If there is a particular question that you hear that you weren't able to answer during this time, if you would like to answer that during your closing statement, please feel free to do so. So, Mr. McHenry, what What do you think the town's role should be in the High Desert Water District sewer project?
Well, that's a good question, because I think there has to be a strong partnership between the leadership of the town and the water district. However, people have to remember, this is the water district's ball to carry. Granted, the town plays a big role in it, but it's not our primary function as a town. And whoever's on the town council, they need to be there to support the water district and help them work to get the sewer project done, because it has to be done. I've talked to people outside of our area, and they see that what we're doing here right now, they're seeing our water district has come a long way as it is. In our town, like I said, our leadership in our town has to support them and work as partners with them. But we cannot, the town leadership itself cannot be at the forefront because it's not our ball to carry. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Abel, does the town have a plan to protect our youth and seniors from the rise of crime and influx of gangs and related crimes? If not, do you think we should address this problem?
Well, getting youth involved is a wonderful way of keeping them on the right path. And so by offering some of the programs that we have through our schools as well as through our Parks and Recreation Commission, our Parks and Recreation Department are really critically important. We also have a general fund of about $9.4 million. Approximately $4 million of that goes to law enforcement. Now, I'm a little bit concerned that perhaps we need to look at maybe funding an additional officer here for our community so that we can maintain that safe community for our senior citizens. A lot of seniors become victims of crime. We see it all the time. And so protecting our citizens, our seniors especially, and our youth is critically important. And we've seen with the changes in the incarceration that more and more prisoners are being released early, and they're coming to communities like ours that are affordable, and also they think they can get away with perhaps perpetrating further crime.
Thank you, Mr. Abel. Ms. Herbel, do you feel we should be more transparent about where the town funds come from? Do you know where we get most of our operating dollars from?
We get most of our operating dollars from sales tax and from property tax. And as far as transparency, I think the town is transparent, but I do think that it is up to the council to go over to the budget line by line to look for the fat, to cut the fat from the budget and move it into programs for our youth and our seniors, additional funding for law enforcement, our streets, and just like we look over our own budget at home and see what areas we can cut to provide what we need in other areas. I think as a council that the council should go over it line by line with staff and with the community involved.
Thank you very much. Mr. Leone, do you feel we should pass ordinances to protect the community from questionable business opening up within the town limits, such as adult shops, hookah lounges, and marijuana dispensaries?
Well, of course, this is very important for the citizens that live here. There's a vast, in these adult businesses, on medical marijuana, there's a kind of half of the community might want the medical marijuana. I personally had a son that died of a malignant brain tumor when he was 21, and he was given marijuana tablets to ease the pain. So I'm somewhat in support of that for medical purposes, but it would have to be done in a proper way and really maintained. As far as adult, that there's a certain element of the community, but it should be placed far enough away from schools and areas where children are, and it should be in an area that is condoned for that type of practice. I believe all businesses are welcome, but they have to be controlled, of course.
Thank you very much. Mr. Dennison, what would your perfect vision of the town of Yucca Valley look like?
Well, the perfect vision of Yucca Valley is something where we coexist with the beautiful desert that we have today. We're lucky enough to bump up against I still call it the monument, but we all know it is a national park now, to utilize those areas, more equestrian trails, riding trails, and ways that we can, interact with the beauty that we have around here. The thing that I would like to work on more is that the young people tend to want to move away from here because they don't feel there's enough activities for them to engage. Young families to stay here. We get a lot of traffic that goes down the hill. So we have to look and build a beautiful community like we've been doing, but we have to also bring in services that will keep people here, that will attract that, and also young industry. Computer sciences would be great with the fiber optics we've got now and things like that. We could start very clean industry and a way to keep young people here, young professionals here, people that are going to help grow this place through, as we said, the sales tax dollars and the property taxes increases.
Thank you, Mr. Dennison. Again, thank you, candidates, for answering the questions. And now we'll move into the 2-minute summation and closing statements. And again, you'll have 2 minutes to give your closing statement. If there was a particular question that was asked of another candidate that you would like to answer, would be the appropriate time to do that. So, Mr. McHenry, 2 minutes, please.
Okay, I'm going to try and wrap this up. Basically, I have a plan and a vision for the town. I have certain things I want to work on. Our town has serious infrastructure needs. I want to be able to be a positive influence to get those needs taken care of. Right now, our town, not only do we face deficit on our roads, but our flood control. I don't know how many of you have been flooded out this year. I know some of you have. I know my area's gotten hit hard with flooding. We need to have a town council that's going to be able to look at these things and be able to make the judgment. Do we spend the money on nice-to-have things or things we got to have? I want to support our businesses here in town. Right now, every money every cent I've made on my campaign, that I've spent on my campaign, has been spent here in town. I'm going to keep it that way. I believe in our small town businesses. I'm going to support our businesses, doing whatever I can to keep them going. Because our business is our future. That's where our money's going to come from. We have to invest within our community. I want to listen to the people, because sometimes the people feel their voices aren't being heard. I've seen many of you here in town at different events out in town. Maybe you didn't know who I was. Now you know. I will talk to you about anything at any time. I don't need to schedule a meeting every 3 months. You want to call me? My number's in the phone book. Look it up, Charles McHenry. I'll answer that phone. If I'm not home, I'll take a message. I will call you back. If you have a question of me, if I'm on that council, you can find me. I won't be hard to find. I will not be hiding. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McHenry. Mr. Abel.
In closing, again, I would like to thank all those that attended tonight. I wish we had more time to answer some more questions for you. The Town Council needs informed and decisive leadership, and as we go forward in these next few years. I'm always willing to learn, and I've learned and gained a lot of knowledge through my experience serving on commissions for the past 20 years. I've learned to listen to people in the community. I've also learned through hands-on experience. I favor a common sense solution to very complex problems and making decisions based upon what is the best for the community at whole. I am a team player, but not a yes man. You have to work together with others. I always enjoy working together with other government agencies and bringing those projects together. Working with the county, working with our school district, working with our water district is vitally important. The many years ahead, we have very many challenges, as we've heard tonight, and I want to let you know that I am committed to continue to work hard, to study the issues, to ask the tough questions, and make informed decisions, not playing it safe politically, but making a decision that's best for our community. And that's what I've done for the last 3.5 years. I've made decisions not worrying about being reelected, worrying about the community as a whole and what this community is going to be like. My family made a decision over 20 years, almost 25 years ago, to move here. It's been one of the best decisions I've ever made. This is a wonderful community. I have wonderful years of raising my family here and building great memories. I love this area. I owe much of my life's happiness to it, and that is why I want to serve the people of this basin. And I want to thank all of you On November 4th, you will get 3 votes for town council. I am asking that you give me one of those 3 votes. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Ava. Ms. Herbel?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for coming this evening, and I'd like to thank the Republican women for putting this forum on. It's a lovely event, and thank you for hosting it. Very, very nice. My name's Lori Herbel, and I want to serve you. I have a passion for this community. I love the people in this community, and I want to hear your voice. And I want to act on whatever your concerns are. I always come to meetings well prepared and well studied, and I will not need the time to figure out what's going on. I already know what's going on behind the scenes. And one thing I want to talk about briefly that I didn't get to talk about, and that is bringing back the High Desert Nature Museum. Right now it's only operating 3 days a week. It was operating 5 days a week, and that was in 2012 and 13. It's $262,000 a year. Right now, the council funded it at $191,000, so it looks like, well, maybe about another $70,000, $80,000 would bring it back up to its full capacity. The High Desert Nature Museum is extremely important to mothers and that homeschool their children, to teachers, and also to our seniors and our youth, all the programs that go on over there. I think that the people miss it. And I think if we look at the budget and find a little bit of fat there, that we could push that money on over to the High Desert Nature Museum. I want to encourage the growth of small businesses. I want to hear from the small businesses and find out what it is that they expect, what their expectations are, and then...
Thank you, Ms. Herbel.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mr. Leone.
I want to thank all the people that attended tonight, and thank again the Republican Party for putting on this forum. I would like to ask for your vote again this November. I've been on the council a long time and have many experiences with the council. I would like to, as an elected official, be truly an elected official that represents the community in which I live. That's all the people of Yucca Valley. I'm a good listener, and I look for your input to the town events, coming to the council, and coming to, maybe again, we'll start up the Coffee with the Mayor, where we would have 15 to 20, 25 people in the morning come and ask different questions at the time you're the mayor. It doesn't have to be the mayor. You can call me anytime. My phone name is also in the phone book, and I receive calls at my home on various issues. I want to be a representative to listen to the people and be a steward to the community in our environment as well. I think we have a duty to serve our community in the environmental issues we are dealing with. We live in a very unique community. This is one of the reasons I moved up here. Our Joshua trees are very unique to the community. Many of our endangered plants we have to be stewards for the environment that we live in, to protect it for future generations. So I'm here to listen to you as an elected official, and I will represent your opinions. If you call me and let me know what you think should be changed. I'm only one vote on the council, unfortunately, but I know that the more traffic lights that are coming on, I'm against the one at the Mimosa because I think it's too close to the major intersection and it will cause a major traffic hazard along that highway. That's my background experience in police work, and I know that even signally controlled lights in theory work, but in practicality they don't because of the human experience.
Thank you, Mr. Leone. Mr. Dennison.
Well, thank you everyone for coming out. This is the largest crowd I've spoke to about running for the town council. It got me thinking about the question that I was asked, can you imagine, how beautiful Yucca Valley could be? And I think of it, how beautiful it is. And that's something that I live with all the time, and I love being here. I love the people that live here. I love the sense of community. I love my children, that they grew up here and the friends they made, the schools they went to and the activities they took place in. And I still love hearing kids laugh and run around. We see it in the New Brim Park, the soccer park, the community center. We see it in all those places. And we want to build on top of that. We want to bring that up. We want the adults to be laughing with them too and understand that we have a huge responsibility. I've talked to people all the way from business owners, all the way down to the guys that do the work in the streets for us. They're repairing things, the infrastructure that's broken, the water district, the road department, the parks and grounds, and they are all awesome. The town's got an excellent staff in place. The council has done a lot of things that has made this town better and better all the time. Sure, at times the mark has been missed, and we have to work on that. It's a big ship, it turns slow. And I think with all of us working together with some kind of vision and understanding that we want to have that tie in this place to continue to be the town of Yucca Valley and not a city, we can make it happen. It's what I want to do. I need to do it. It's a calling of mine to make this place beautiful for my children to come back and their children to want to be here too. We all want that to happen. We want this place to, just flourish. And that's really what I want, in a good controlled way where we can make it into the thing that we're all dreaming about all the time. You're going to get more information at rickdennison.com, everything about me and some of the things that I'm working with. I'd appreciate a vote on November 4th. I will work very hard. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, our Republican candidates for the Town Council: Charles McHenry, Merle Abel, Lori Herbell, Robert Leone, and Rick Dennison. And I thank you all for being here and for your participation. Again, information of our candidates are in the back. So at this time, I will ask you to depart the stage, and I will call up the Morongo Unified School District Governing Board candidates. Thank you. We have our candidates for the Morongo Unified School District Governing Board. We have Hillary Slaughter and Chris Proudfoot. So, I'd like to thank both of you for being here tonight. And we are going to go ahead and start with your opening statement. Again, it's 2 minutes. Jane has been very diligent on our time clock here. When you have 30 seconds left, you will get the warning flag of yellow, and then at 15 seconds, it'll be red, and then when your time is up, she will raise that flag, and I will kindly have you move on to the next question. So, with that, Mrs. Slaughter, if you want to go ahead and start with your opening statement.
Thank you, Diane. My name is Hillary Slaughter. Now, some of you may know me, and some of you may not. So for those of you who don't know me, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am a very long-time resident of the Morongo Basin. My family has lived here for almost 50 years. My husband, Kevin, just retired from Morongo Unified School District as a teacher, teaching 40 years. Both of his parents worked in the school district. His dad was a teacher at 29 High. His mother worked at the junior high in 29. His sister is currently a teacher in 29 Palms. We have family in every community in this basin. Kevin and I both attended high school here. Our sons, Ryan and Kyle, went all through school here. Our grandson, Zach, went to school here. We have many, many nieces and nephews that attended the schools here, and we still have some in school. His sister, Anita, has, Mark is still in school at 29 High. So we have a lot of experience with the school district in our family. My experience began with the Family Faculty Association, the FFA, at Yucca Valley Elementary. When my son Ryan was starting kindergarten, that's when I got involved. The thing that I found was interesting is that they We're raising funds, and they did that for 10 years. And I'm going to tell you more about that in just a moment.
Thank you very much. Mr. Proudfoot.
She's tough. I don't know. Hi, I'm Chris Proudman. I first want to say thank you to the Morongo Basin Republicans for hosting this forum. This is a pretty critical election, both nationally, at the state level, but every one of these races that you're seeing here tonight are just as critical, and we're at kind of pivotal moments across the Morongo Basin. So I'm glad that the Republicans hosted this and got a chance for everybody to talk. I'm a retired Marine veteran. I served 27 years in the Marine Corps. I still work out on the Marine base. My family came to 29 Palms in 1961. My dad still lives in the house he bought for $21,000 in 1961. And it's probably the best house I've ever lived in. For those of you that are Marines, my home of record officially has been 29 Palms since 1961. I'm 54 years old, so that's a long time to have 29 Palms as your home of record. I'm invested in this community, the long haul. My family's here. Every one of my brothers attended schools in Morongo Unified School District. I attended schools in the Morongo Unified School District over at 29 Palms High. I have 2 children that also attend schools here in the Morongo Unified School District. I'm invested in what happens to our schools, and I would tell you that above all else, she's getting ready this year, above all else, I have a positive view for the future of MUSD. It's real easy to be critical. It's real easy to tear things down. I have a positive view of the future of MUSD, and I think that shows as a positive future for your children, for our communities, and for the future of what is going to be the Morongo Basin. So with that, thank you very much. Beat you.
Thank you. So you can continue on with the next question that all candidates have been answering is, what expertise will you bring to the governing board at the Morongo Unified School District, and why are you running?
As I mentioned, the FFA at Yucca High, we raised funds for 10 years. I was on the board, and I was also president of the FFA. At the end of that 10 years, we built the library without taxpayer funds, without district funds. First one ever done in California. That was quite an accomplishment. We also, going on with that, I've served as director and 2-time chamber president in Yucca Valley. I've been on the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Commission, and I've also served on Unity Home. I bring a lot of expertise from volunteer organizations, and I also have some with business as well, and I will share more of that in just a few minutes.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Proudfoot, 1 minute.
Okay, expertise. This is a pretty simple one for me because you can say that I currently manage a budget that's about the size of the Morongo Unified School District budget out on the base. I teach out on the base. I have been in schools across this country and throughout the entire globe, so I know a lot about schools. But I'll tell you what, the most important expertise I bring is I'm honest, I'm forthright, I'm very direct with people, and I'll tell you what, I rely on my integrity more than anything else to know what is right and what is wrong. And that's what I do, right versus wrong. And I think every issue comes down to that. Why am I running? I want our schools to be exceptional. I want them to be good. Average or above average is not good enough. We've got to do better. We have to do better for our kids and for our own future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, Ms. Slaughter. What is your perfect vision for the Morongo Unified School District, and what does it look like?
Well, first of all, it focuses on the students, first and foremost. If you focus on the students, everything else falls into place, whether that's teachers, support staff, facilities, materials, technology, whatever. You have to focus on the students. With that, smaller class sizes, we're trying to do that. We need to do a better job. I'm also an advocate for the arts. I'd like to see that expanded for all grades, and most importantly, on the secondary schools, we have to bring back those vocational ed, ROP, those things that are needed for an overall rounded experience. We do a great job, I feel, of getting our students prepared for college. We need to get our students prepared that aren't going to college to be a productive part of this community if they so choose to stay here in the Morongo Basin.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Proudfoot. Should school board meetings move around the district so more people can attend and have a say in school business?
Would you do tee that up, because that's like my favorite thing? Absolutely. Let me tell you what, we continue to have our board meetings in one place. So I get to see the same room every day, I get to see the same custodian, I get to see the same principal. That's really neat. I get to know them pretty well. However, every school, we have 17 sites, 18 if you count the maintenance place, every school has problems. Every principal wants to show off their school, show us their problems. There are extracurricular activities that can be shown by each and every one of the schools. I'd like to be at every school every time. You can't hit every one of them every year, but I do think we need to be in the schools all the time, and it's just yet another opportunity to make sure that the board is getting to the school sites to know exactly what's going on in each of the sites. Thanks.
Thank you. I'm sure all of our candidates who are still here at the end of the forum would answer your questions. So if there are other questions that you have, please feel free to talk to them after the forum. So at this time, I'd like to thank you for answering those questions. And now we're going to move into the 2-minute summation and closing statements. And again, if your counterpart answered a question that you wanted to answer, feel free to include that in your closing summation. So, Ms. Lotto, you go ahead and your 2 minutes.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to give a big round of applause to the Republican Club, the Morongo Basin Republican Club. Please give them a big round of applause. I did mention a little bit about my volunteer. I also worked in the business field. I was a regional director and trainer for Business Network International, where their headquarters was based in Southern California. I think the importance of teamwork, which I've received awards for on different boards, is so critical to the job of governing board for the Morongo Unified School District. That's one of the things that I will bring to the table. I've been attending the board meetings for the last year, and what I've noticed is a somewhat lack of teamwork. That needs to be changed. We need to have teamwork. The role of a board, first and foremost, is you're one person of 5. It has to be a team. Then you're responsible to hire the best person you can to run the school district, the superintendent. Those things are so important. Again, I've lived here a long time, been involved in many other things. I sing with Just Like That, vocal trio. Many of you may know me from there. I care about this community. That's why you should vote for me on November 4th. Remember, Slaughter for school board. Students first.
Thank you. Mr. Proudfoot.
Thank you, ma'am. I've got a long laundry list of things to do. Even though I've been on the board 4 years, we've gotten a lot done. I'm really proud of a lot of the things we've got accomplished. There's a lot to do. The list gets longer and longer the more familiar I become with every issue throughout the school district. So I've picked 2 that I think we've got to focus on, or else we're in danger of losing the very reason for a school district, which is the kids. We forget that. And like what you're going to hear from probably any of the candidates, kids always come first. Let me tell you what, we have to act like the kids come first. We can't act like every adult issue is higher priority than the kids. Now, all the issues in the school district are tied to schools learning, kids achieving. But I tell you what, if we can't make every decision the number one priority, what's best for the kids and what gives them the best opportunity, we're making a mistake. I'd echo the teamwork, because it really is the board working together. It's unlike some of the other boards and councils that are out there. The board has to work together and work in unison, even if there's disagreement. Let me tell you about the second thing. The second thing is we must expand the vocational opportunities for kids in this district. 20% of our kids go on to colleges and universities. 80% don't. We have to provide opportunity for these kids, electricians, plumbing, auto mechanics, IT specialists, whatever we can do in the schools while they're getting their education, we need to provide them that opportunity so that they enter the workforce career ready. They're capable and certified to do something. That's a big step up. If we can't do that, we're doing a disservice to our kids. We need a partnership with our chambers of commerce and our businesses around to make sure we're providing internships and other ways for kids to get things done. I appreciate everybody coming out tonight. I look forward to chatting with you. You guys are a heck of a lot smarter than I am. I look forward to your ideas because that's what we're here for. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So our candidates for Morongo Unified School District Governing Board, Hillary Slotta and Chris Proudfoot, thank you very much. Last but not least, something that's near and dear to my heart is the High Desert Medical Center Director, and we'll have the one candidate for that board come and join us. Thank you. So, Mr. McClure, welcome.
Thank you.
So we're going to go ahead and begin with your opening statement for 2 minutes, and again, Ms. Purdy will put up the yellow flag there when there's 30 seconds left, and then the red flag when there's 15, and then she'll wave it at you when it's time to stop. So if you would go ahead and do your opening statement.
Thank you very much. Hello, and thank you for having me. I am a 32-year resident of the Morongo Basin, and my residence is in 29 Palms. And until my retirement last October, I was a 16-year employee of the district, serving as the district's Chief Information Officer. I have also served as a facility manager, safety officer, and corporate compliance officer for the district. As the Chief Information Officer, I was a member of the administration team, which afforded me the opportunity to work with the other hospital executives and the board members in forging strategic and tactical goals for the district. Having participated in over 100 board meetings, I feel I am well positioned to have an immediate impact on the board. I want to serve the residents of the district by ensuring that we maintain the service levels that is in the best interest of the community. Hence the reason I'm seeking office as a board member, and I would appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to give you another minute to answer this question. You've given us that information, but if there's anything else you want to add to that, what expertise will you bring to the board, and why are you running?
I'm running because I care. My expertise as Chief Information Officer, I was responsible for all of the data that flows in, out, and around the hospital, ensuring that it is safe, secure, and accurate for the safety of our patients. It also allowed me to provide the oversight administratively for the implementation of the HITECH Act under the Affordable Care Act. This is bringing meaningful use to electronic health records. It culminated into a successful phase one, which brought $2 million back to the hospital, which we're very proud of. As a facilities officer, wastewater treatment plant, sewage treatment plant. I guess we were the first one in conjunction with the Joshua Basin Water District to do that, which allows the hospital to be able to expand because we exceeded capacity for sewage. Over the 16 years, there are so many things that we did at the hospital. Of course, the LDRP, the expansion of the ER.
Thank you very much.
And many other things.
And again, candidates will be available if you want to ask them more their expertise and why they're running. All right, so now the question. What would you change about our hospital and why?
And this comes from a current board member. What would I change about the hospital? It is more than a hospital. it's a healthcare district. We have behavioral health, we have our surgical center, we have our Medi-Cal clinics, federally qualified. It's all, we have home health, we have our long-term care. So it's not just about the hospital. Would I change about the district or the hospital? We have, not much. We have to have an LDRP. We have to have a good ED. We need some med-surg beds. But the other things, the CCC, home health, are vital to our community, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. McClure. So with that, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to make your closing statement and add any more that you'd like to.
I really don't have a closing statement. I just want to thank you all again for having me here tonight. It's been a pleasure and allowing me to introduce myself to you all, and I hope I've convinced you to support me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Morongo Basin Republicans, I would like to thank you again for attending tonight's candidate forum, and to thank all of you who have made this possible, our committee and all the members of the Morongo Basin Republican Club. Please take your agendas with you for the information on viewing tonight's forum and the future location and hours of our Morongo Basin Republican headquarters as we get closer to the election. And please, please get as much information as you can on all your candidates, and do not forget to vote on November 4th. Thank you very much, and God bless.